Okay. Going to give you a visual verification. There's that. So let's do a brief. All right. So this is going to be a long video, and I'm going to try to hit all topics that I haven't hit in a single video yet about my psychosis and delusions throughout the 30-something years are ideas that I placed into my cup. So let's go ahead and address that. One that's going to be long. It's going to be hard hitting, and the topics are going to range. So there's a wide variety that's going to be hopefully penetrating your vessel. So, and it's up to you to say no at any point. You don't have to write it all the way through. Tap out when you need to. You can always come back. That's why I put it online. Take what you need. Take that little bit that made sense to you. Work on that instead of trying to take the whole topic. Sometimes you don't make it all the way through. So someone knocks on the door, you get distracted. Learn how to shut it off. That's what this exercise is going to be. So I'm going to try to use this video as a blowout video, like just unloading like 3 days of cocaine, methamphetamine, downers when you need to get a couple hours of sleep, and then just pure unadulterated fun. Okay, educational stuff. One, always wash your balls. If your balls stink and you don't shave your balls first. Okay, secondary, use a hydrogen peroxide right after that. Well, maybe take a shower and then the next day use hydrogen peroxide. Scrub that in there, let it bubble. All right, that bubble stuff means there's grime living on your sack. Okay, and then after that, right before a date, douse them with alcohol. The thing with alcohol is there's a lot of like male enhancement devices has a little bit of alcohol in there because it rushes blood down to there. So if you just shaved and you throw it on there right after a shower, it's going to burn and you're going to have to suck it up. If you're man enough, kind of just douse the outside of the anus to make sure that's really clean, because you don't know how freaky you're going to get and what you're going to do. So you just want to always be prepared. So always shit before you shower. Always wipe from front to back. Okay, that's it. Because otherwise you get in your taint area, it gets real swampy and it starts growing some shit. Well, not growing some shit, it's just stank. And then it's hard to get rid of. So, but rubbing alcohol is your friend. Hydrogen peroxide is your friend. If you have stained teeth, hydrogen peroxide and baking soda once a week or every other week, depending on how sensitive your teeth is. Gargle with hydrogen peroxide. All right. Brush with just baking soda with the rest of the time. Never do both every day because that'll start eating away at your gums. So that'll get rid of your stank breath, but you got to start drinking water after that. The problem with hydrogen peroxide is it starts bubbling up and forms all this air. You got to watch out about bringing it down into your gut because you'll vomit. So other tips, I talked about coconut in an earlier video for beards, and then curly hair or wavy hair. If you want that curl or bounce to really pop, you're going to have to dry it upside down and push it back in, and then use the blow dryer to dry the hair out so that curl has time to dry in a curled state. So that's same with the beard. So if you have a long beard, you got to push it up and then use the blow dryer on it, so that way that curl, and then the coconut oil makes it stick together as well, and it gives it a nice sheen, and then it starts getting healthier. So, and then coconut oil, just a little bit all over the body, is really good for dry skin, and if you just keep doing that after each shower. So what I do is I usually use a bar soap versus the liquid soap, because the liquid soap leaves this, and a lot of new soaps has this like chemical in there, and I don't know which one it is, but it leaves a film and you can feel it. And if you don't feel it, that means you're not as sensitive or knowledgeable about your body, but there's always this film. It's a slight little, it gives you this sheen. So I think they're putting lotion into it, but like a soft feeling. But what you're doing is coating the skin with this layer, and it's not getting air to the skin. So I use the cheapest, harshest soap. Like you can use dish soap. That works well. Like if you get poison ivy or any rash, use dish soap on that thing to kill any of this stuff. Now, what it'll do is dry out the skin, and that's the whole point. But then what you do, well, you don't put lotion on the rash, but you put lotion on the rest of the skin that you use that harsh soap on, and then the body will absorb it. So the coconut oil. The coconut oil is your cheapest option. Otherwise, you're paying like upwards of $70 for this rejuvenating stuff, and all they're doing is putting B12 and other stuff into it. And I'm not trying to tear into it. If that's your thing, that's your thing, and it does work. That's the thing. That's what pisses me off. That's why I chose nootropics, because I'm going to end up doing that. I'm going to get hair implants and all this other stuff. So I'm going to look like a fool for a little bit, but it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. That's hygiene. And the other thing, don't use Axe, okay? If you truly want to attract a mate, you don't douse yourself in another scent, because if they like that scent, that ain't you. And if that company goes debunk, then you're fucked. All right, she's not going to like your scent. So that's why you clean yourself down to the base thing, and then you start sweating. And then you got to make sure what you eat, because what you eat really depends on what you're sweating out. So, and if you're not working out, it starts building up in the system, and then you have this huge funk. And additionally, if you're masturbating and you're not cleaning up right after, then you got that fishy smell. So, and that's both parties. So, always, at least go to the bathroom, get a rag, clean it up a little bit, and then take care of it. I always douse a little alcohol in there, so in case I want to go another round. So, rubbing alcohol. And that's my tips and tricks there. As for homelessness, I gave one that was really good with my car video for my family. When I told them I was going to cut all my fingers off except for the fuck you, which was a later video. Most recently, I finally had to say it as who to trust. And I trusted my family, but I also trusted the individuals I borrowed money from, which were homeless individuals, which I shouldn't have had to borrow from them, because I felt there was more guilt associated with that than my family. And it shouldn't be, because money's money, but I knew that they had more of it. So, anyways, and then the best one was the high interest rate loan. There are so many texts where I'm like, I'm having to take these high interest rate loans out. So I'd go to the gas station and be like a few cents short, and I'd borrow it from the change thing. And I did. I was trying to keep in my mind an honest, ethical thing. I didn't want to borrow money. You know, I knew I was homeless. So what I did was, I hope this is recording. Yeah. What I did was borrow a quarter and then make sure my sole purpose for the day, because I didn't have anything else to do. I'm like, find money on the ground. So I would search and search and search, and then find like 3 times the amount that I borrowed. And I'd go back in on the same shift. I'm like, you need to stop texting me, okay? Stop threatening my life. I'm paying back the loan. You let me borrow a few cents, and now I'm paying it back. All right? I don't think it justifies the fact that you're threatening my family and whatever. And they're like, I didn't do that. And then the coworker at shift change is like, what is he talking about? You're threatening our customer. And I'm like, yeah, I'll talk to you later. When do you work next? And then they'll let me know, like this weird, like, and then I come back in, and they're like, you got me in trouble. And I'm like, yeah, how much trouble? They were just curious about what was going on. So anyways, I thought it was funny. So I made this one girl that I did that to. There's 2 different girls at this one gas station. So there was a night shift one, which I used to come in drunk, and I would do the existential talk with her. I'm like, here's the deal. All right, I've got to figure it out. I've got the inside scoop. All right, I can't really explain it to you because I don't know your backstory. So she told me some of her backstory, and I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I'll get the other 2 industries here. I will get that information, and you stay focused. Stay focused. And she had said that she had a couple kids and her husband was a firefighter. I'm like, I will support you. We will not talk about this ever. If I have to talk about it, it's only to let people know in on our secret. So that way we have more support. So she's like, okay, but you've got to explain it better because I'm not understanding. I sort of understand. When you work the 3rd shift, you get a bunch of this crazy talk. Everyone's trying to express this part that they don't want to talk about during their work life. So, and then the other one was a day shift one. She was just 18, 19. Anyways, I made a deal with her. I'm like, we're going to break into Fort Knox. She's like, all right, what are we taking? I'm like, nothing. Absolutely nothing. We're going to leave a love note in there for our loved ones. Dun, dun, dun. She's like, that's fucking awesome. And I'm like, 1 rose. And it's going to stay in there until Wilson dies. She's like, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm totally in. If this actually happens, she was totally in. She's like, let's fucking do this. Let's Ocean's 11 this shit. Anyway, she got into the prison security. She got a new job and moved on that way. So she was going to school for political something or other. And then I'm going to throw in a third one that kind of found me. She was a Mormon girl, which we had a talk. I'm going to ruin her story, but she's a good girl. She was adopted, and then she was wanting to go. Her primary schooling was for translating Japanese, and she wanted to get in politics. And I'm like, you're not going to make it if you stay with this group. And she goes, I get an education, and maybe, I'll get a family, and then things will change. So I'm like, okay. But anyways, I told her about my ASCII stuff, and then all of a sudden, then we start talking. And then I start texting like this crazy shit. I'm like, my penis is so big. I'll tell you about all of it. Stay away from these guys. They crazy fucks. And then they're like, okay, would you like to come to church with us? And I'm like, yeah, I would. Anyways, I get to the church. They're there, and I had walked. It's a 30-minute walk to get there. I was running a fever or something. I don't know. I was sweating or something. It was during the summer. So I'm in Sunday clothes walking for a half hour. They're sweaty like a pig in clothes that I didn't have. I had to get them from Goodwill. And the only sizes they had was this like maroon red, which I don't do maroon for a reason, because it's like blood marrow, and I'm not sucking the life out of people. And then gray pants. So I'm sweating in Jesus sandals, and then this guy from Bible school comes up to me, and he starts rubbing my back. He's like, don't stop, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what he said, but it was real creepy, and I don't think he understood it was creepy. He's like, my uncle used to say that, and I'm like, ooh, even creepier. But he had a good sense of humor, but he reminded me, he's like, you seem like a guy that was on Troy, leading people into battle. And I'm like, and apparently he lightened up in Sunday school right after that. He did an amazing Sunday school class, which I wasn't staying for because I was still sweating because I had high blood pressure. Anyways, this other gentleman showed up, and he was there because he was trying to get with these girls. I'm like, and he was older than me. And I'm like, dude, come on now, you're just not getting it. All right, the fact that, they got my dick pics all over the phone doesn't mean anything, because they shared a SIM card. So, and then they had to show their phones to their, I guess, case managers is what I'm going to say, because that's the only word I got. They got different words for things, like they don't have service, they have wards. And I had asked them why they call it wards, because I go to the psych ward quite a bit. And I didn't explain that to them, but now they know if they watch this video. So anyways, all of a sudden we had this long talk. I told him, like, this is what you got to do, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, there's this new girl here, that Japanese learner girl, gone. She's over in Illinois, like overnight. I'm like, what did I do? Should I not be naked all the time? Do they know I'm naked under my clothes? Did I not take enough showers? No. And then there was another one, a blonde one. God, she was such a bitch. I liked her, though. I like bitches. But damn, we would butt heads. Like, she would just stand there straight and then start spouting off her shit. I'm like, you're not even listening to me. All right, I've come to church so many times, and you're not willing to go to the bar with me? I didn't want to go to the bar. I just wanted to play pool. I wanted to show her my skill set. And it has nothing to, I wasn't even trying to hit on him. I just wanted to show him a little magic, the way I knew how to communicate. But if a person is unwilling to meet you halfway, try something new. Which it wasn't new for her. She even said, oh, I took a billiard class. That would be fun. And then she's like, oh. I'm like, here's the deal. We got to find I know bars aren't good. You guys are Mormons, so we got to find a different place. And then the new girl is like, well, we have one at our hotel place. So all you got to do is come over. And then the girl that knew, the blonde-haired girl, is like, no, he'll show up. I know my limitations. I know when to push and when not to push. So, but then they start texting me. They're like, you promised to go to church. I'm like, I've been to church 6 times, all right? You're not even giving me a half hour on the billiard table, all right? So anyways, if you know classic movies, you know what I'm talking about. Insatiable. So, where the help helps the homeowner's daughter. So, anyways, um, there's the crazy wagon. No, I think that's a cop car. Yeah, I think that's a cop car. So, I didn't even get there. So, all right, basic thing. Let's say 2007 to 2012, I start working on my knowledge set because I wanted to become a millionaire. I already knew I could have been back in right out of high school, but I had focused on a relationship for 4 years. After that, she said I wasn't making enough money, so then I focused on making money. I did take 2 years off after my grandmother broke her hips and was helping her out. And everyone thought I was just being lazy, but I don't think they understand. Like, at the core, maybe a little. But at the same time, I always kept in my head, I'm like, I'm going to try to find out as many stories as I can. Because me and her talked all the time. And she would tell me about her past and different things. And she would ask me about relationship questions, sort of. She would always tell me that she was getting groped by the men at the senior place, which I'm just like, Grandma, I get it. You don't have the family to vent to, but no. I don't come here and say, oh, I just grabbed Angie's boobs. I was all over her nipple titty. So, and she's like, I get it. So we're watching Idiocracy. This is the best story ever. So she's on pain meds. And I was cooking dinner for her, like nice dinners. And then they started paying me because they realized that I was actually taking care of her except for showers. I wouldn't do that. That's a no-go for me. Mostly because of the conversation she fucking has with my face. So, anyways, so I'm watching Idiocracy, and then we're making it through. We make it through the Starbucks stuff, all the conversation, him shitting on his recliner chair because it's a sofa recliner chair plus a crapper, and we make it through most of the stuff until the monster truck scene. And then she just kind of, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I'm not going to turn it down because, it's been fine all the way up here. She slept through most of it. She wakes up, she opens her eyes, and then she's like, what the crap is this? Why is there a huge dildo on his mustard truck? I'm like, Grandma, shut your fucking mouth. You missed most of the movie, so you have no reference points. They're trying to save the world. She's like, with the dildo? So, anyways, and then there was another one. It happened again. So I'm flipping through stations, and then I got to Dog the Bounty Hunter. The only reason why I watched that is because it was super popular, and then South Park did an episode on it, and Cartman was on there. So I'm going to watch it to see the appeal. Anyways, Grandma wakes up again. You're only watching it because her huge titties. I'm like, Grandma, you don't talk like this in front of anyone else. Why? Just why? She's like, because I can't have alcohol. Oh, she was hilarious. All right, I'm going to tell you this one last story. I know I've said it multiple times to multiple different people. I'm just not sure if it was on this avenue. So her hip, it was either her hip or her knee was broke. All right, she could walk around somewhat. And she's supposed to use a walker, but she didn't. So she's like, I want to go to Target. We have to get some cereal and something else. I've been really craving it. I'm like, okay. So it was the Vogel Target in Missouri in the Imperial area. All right, so I gave you the road, the little town district, and the state. So you'd be able to look it up. Anyways, so I'm like, okay, so we're talking all the way there and we're having a good time. And then she asked me a question right before I go to park. And then I'm just kind of rolling in. And then she asked a real question. It's one of those neurological things. And I kind of took my foot off the brake. And then the car hit the handicap sign. And the handicap sign goes, and I'm like, Grandma, I'm going to say you were driving, all right? And they're going to take your car away from you because you're fucking around with me. She's like, how dare you lie to our family? So, what's another one? So I'm like, Grandma, I'll go get one of those electrical carts. That's the only reason why I asked her to come, because normally I would just go. She wanted to get out of the house. It's been too long. So I go get the electrical cart, and she had gained some weight in her stomach, and she was having liver problems or just different things. But anyway, she had a little belly on her. So she couldn't really reach forward and stuff, so it was kind of hard, and it added to the knee pain. So I'm like, I'll go get an electrical scooter and I'll bring it out. So I bring it out to the handicap spot. She gets into it, and then she sits down, and then she just reaches her hand, like the handle's over here. She's like, I'm like, are you serious? You want me to just turn the thing for you? She's like, yeah. So I turn the lever forward. I turn the lever forward, and then I've got to direction it for her. So I'm walking around basically pulling this little cart, and she's just like, I need to go left. I need to go right. Let's go over there. Let's say that she's being a real bitch about it. She's like, that looks cool. Go over there. So I start ramming the cart into aisles. Anyways, so we finally get in, and there's a coffee shop inside of Starbucks. She's like, I want a coffee. So I go, I drive her over there, and she's sitting there, and I'm walking beside this fucking go-kart, and they're just staring at us. They're like, what the fuck's going on here? This can't be real. So we get to the counter, and then she orders a drink, and she's like, oh, he doesn't get anything. He's my worker. I'm like, you bitch. So she orders a Starbucks. She gets a Starbucks, and she does the same thing with the coffee. So I grab the coffee, give it to her, and then she's like, all right, now we got to get out of here. And she just points, and you can see her hand reach over the handlebar as she's pointing. I'm like, you fucking bitch. Oh. So I was digging it. This was a fun time. I love it when she fucks around like this. So she even leaned forward, and then she drank some of the coffee. She's like, oh, this is hot. I'm like, you stupid ass. So we get to the cereal aisle, and this is at the point where I'm ramming it into stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make your life a living hell at this point. If you're gonna make me walk you around, basically. So, and then she did an ordeal with the wallet because it was in her purse, which she was sitting on. She's like, oh no, I'm in so much pain. Anyways, Target. I'm sorry, that's Grandma's thing. She's like, ooh la la. It's not Grandpa Pigeons. This is Target. This is the good shit. So that's what we were raised on. Anyways, I'm just going to go over topics. I'm not going to make this any longer because I would like to smoke, and I'm holding the camera. United States is a theme park. Korea, if read in reverse, says near okay. Roku is outside RU, inside okay. So not only is it a theme park of the 2000s, depending on the equipment you get, you can travel to the future, past, whatever. And you wouldn't even know because you're viewing through your optical lenses, you're seeing 2024. So depending on what area, you could be in the, let's say, Stone Age in America, and their cell phone would look just like a rock. And there's a translation process that happens that translates the information. Yet in the moment of now, you're just holding whatever device it is. But it translates to whatever time era that you're being viewed from, their perception. So that's a basic one. I can explain that because that's what I'm building towards. So I know that. And the only way I know that is because I looked at the technology, and that's where it said it was going. And that's what Safe Slides instructed me to do. Even though they're not paying me, they're like, you need to do this for us. We'll try to do our best to send stuff your way. So, and then this gentleman pops up who I think is their AI. So it works out because it said USA Assault. Or wait, team? I forget what it was. No, vessel? Verbal. Sorry, it took me a moment. He's very contextual with the language. I'm not. I'm very idealistic about time. So, in sand and little particles and all that stuff. Dontorius is more of an internal, logical. He understands that the human body is much like a car or a house, and that whoever created the house didn't create the human inside. is all he was trying to explain in one of his most recent ones. He was also, after reviewing the set part 2 of the video most recently, I realized he was talking about sex, and that's what he was trying to describe, but he couldn't find the analogy like the house and person inside. So that way he wouldn't have to try to explain how sex happens. Because once again, once the sperm meets the egg, we can't explain that singular action, okay? So, because you just got to pound it out until you duplicate yourself. So, hope that makes sense. Hope you enjoyed the grandmother video. By the way, grandmother broke her hip having sex with grandpa. And then I had to hear about it. She was laying on the floor until my mom woke up. So my mom's like, just so you know, grandma's in the hospital. Like, okay. Are we going? Is it bad enough? No, she's fine. I just wanted you to know that she broke her hip. I'm like, okay. Are you sure we can't go visit her? Because I'm trying to get out of school. She goes, no. She was having sex with grandpa and rolled off the bed and broke her hip. And she was buck naked on the floor. I'm like, what? All right, I'm like, the bus is going to be here in 2 minutes. Are you driving me to school? No, I'm not driving you to school. I just wanted you to have that image inside your head for the entire day. You manipulative fool, you long gone bitch. She's like, I didn't want to see it. I saw it firsthand. But now you have an image in your head which is 1,000 times worse. So every time you look at grandma, just imagine her rolling off the bed, breaking her hip. I'm like, you fucking bitch. So I love you, Mom. I love you, Grandma. Much love.